This edition of MacVoices is supported by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Visit headspace.com/MacVoices for a free 1-month trial. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is part 2 of the first MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide for 2020. The first part had some very interesting picks. This time they get even more interesting. And of course, this is not our only holiday gift guide shows. We're going to do these through the holidays with different panels of guests, and therefore we end up with a lot of different picks and a lot of great gift ideas for you and your family. So with that, let's get back to the second part of the first holiday gift guide show for 2020. And so that means, Kelly, please take us into round 3.
You're not going to tell us scores?
I didn't know there were scores.
I'm just kidding. That's the end of round 2. So here's the standings. This is, again, I'm sort of like, I'm not going real big with most of my picks this year because I'm trying to be kind of practical about it. But there's something that I thought was really interesting as I've noticed, like we've sort of brushed up against that, like there's not a lot of going places now. And what there's a lot more of is like video call, video chat, things like that, FaceTime. Since we're here on MacVoices, we can say FaceTime. So there's a lot of that going on. And so my pick, I have one of these in my cart. I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm like right on the edge of pulling the trigger. And that is it's a selfie stick, but it also is a tripod. And that tripod goes from an 18-inch tripod to a 60-inch tripod. So you can have it on your desk, and like if you want to have a video, like a FaceTime call sitting at your desk, you can have your phone right here at your desk. But then also, like if you want to sit on the couch and have a FaceTime call with somebody else, a couple of other people, like you can have your phone on a tripod on the end of at the end of the couch or whatever, and then you've got it tall enough that you can actually that you can sit comfortably on the couch, or even, depending how tall you are, because it does get 5 feet tall, maybe you can stand. And, if you want to stand somewhere or, show the Christmas tree to other people in your family or whatever, you can get this. And then the rest of the time, like I said, it doubles as a selfie stick. So it can be the thing when we can go places and take selfies again that you can take with you. So that is my pick.
Very nice. Very nice. The selfie sticks are kind of maligned, but I think everybody needs a good selfie stick.
Yep. Or at least a better phone situation for when you're trying to take a group photo at a minimum.
Yes. Good point. Good use case.
So
very good use
definitely
case
a good
example.
way to up your game. So, with my family, I always call it nostril cam, because whoever it is that's answering holds it down here and goes, "Hello," and then no one needs that. Not during cold and flu season. No. Yeah. So, hold it up here, but, answering up here is weird. So stick it in the tripod and then, answer from afar, and then everything looks great as soon as you start. So that's the other reason that it's my pick, is because this also just helps with all kinds of other practical things right now. Like I said, there's video chat. If you do telemedicine, like this is a nice way to make sure that you're like getting reasonable eye contact when you have to talk to somebody. If you've got meetings that you're doing on a mobile device, you can do it that way, and it just comes out to be a little bit nicer experience. Your arm doesn't get tired, everything. It's all great.
Good.
And this one, the specific one that I have picked that you have the link for, Chuck, is $17 on Amazon.
That would be handy with camo.
See, yes. There you go. Exactly.
Yes.
I probably have the same selfie stick here that I'm using for my camera that I'm using right now. It's got the small little tripod, but it can be also a selfie stick, and it extends up. So
and extends, yeah, exactly.
And it's got the little grip on it too. So this can be a combination of that. But this has been working great because I got the camera right in front of me. So when I'm I can look right into it, and it's perfect level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I think we've all learned from COVID and being on more video calls of one kind or another, that you really need to be looking at across instead of up or down. So yeah, good, great, Kelly. So I think that takes us to David.
All right. everybody loves this remote, right? This is their Apple TV remote. I don't think a lot of people are big fans of it. They don't like it. I do like this one. This is a Function 101 remote. It's a brand new remote that's just for Apple TV, and the company's called Function 101. Really great feeling grippies that are on this remote control. It just works as soon as you take it out of the box and put the batteries in. It works with your Apple TV. It's got all the full navigation. It's got the menu. It's got the volume. It also integrates with your TV. So I've got it set up here on my TV right next to me, where it'll work with to turn the TV on or off, as well as be able to function all the functions on the Apple TV. The only downfall to it is it doesn't have the S Lady, and it doesn't have the touch. So you have some challenges as far as any voice. So if you use a lot of voice with the Apple TV, which a lot of people probably don't, they may not like it. But there might be some folks that don't like that remote and want to be able to just have a simple remote, be able to control everything in their Apple TV. It's a great little remote. It's not expensive. $29.95. You can buy it right directly from the manufacturer, function101.com. I'll have the link, of course. And it's got a good feeling. That's what I like about it. So, but again, only downfall is the voice. So,
very nice, very nice. Yeah, I find that it took me a while to get used to my Apple TV remote, but I've come to like it.
Me too.
Definitely,
it's us against them.
Well, not
compare the two. It's it's tough. I know it's smaller, but
I don't have.
This ends up in the couch cushion all the time too. The small one. So
I've lost feeling in my thumbs due to like RSI. So for me to find buttons on a remote is nearly impossible. But to just have a big touch screen that I can just swipe around and click, that works best for me. So I have my own personal reasons for loving the Apple remote.
Sure. It's not for everybody, but I think this is a good alternate choice.
Well, and I tell you, if you have looked at the Amazon Fire TV remotes, they implement it gets frustrating. They implement long presses and short presses on certain buttons, so that you intend to do one thing and you end up doing another. And I prefer to have one button dedicated for everything, and then move the menu around on the screen, and then let me hit it. And so I find the Apple TV remote definitely superior in that regard.
Yeah.
And Brett, you bring up a really interesting use case that why you like it better. So.
Also, I don't need a Netflix button on my remote. That's the thing that killed me about the Roku and the Amazon remotes. Who needs Netflix and Hulu button? That's what I have S Lady for.
Yeah.
Amazon needed those.
You mentioned leaving having the remote fall in the couch cushions, and the way that I ended up mitigating that was I bought a cover, like a silicone cover for the remote that glows in the dark. So number one, if it's dark and I'm holding on to it, there's silicone around the bottom, so I know which end is the touchscreen end, like Brett's talking about. But additionally, it glows in the dark. So if the lights are out, I can still figure out where I set the remote, because a black remote on a black leather couch is a recipe for evaporation. And so it's really nice to be able to see it in the dark. So, yeah.
Great. Brett, what do you got?
All right. So for the sci-fi reader in your life, we all have them.
Oh,
You're familiar with white male sci-fi authors, right?
Yes.
That would be all of them. Yes.
Except for, I discovered this year, there are many Black female sci-fi authors that do excellent work. Starting with like Octavia Butler and N.K. Jemisin. But my pick is the Binti trilogy by Nnedi Okorafor. It is now available. Like, it started off, the first one is really a novelette, a novella. So I got the Audible book of it, and it ended way too soon. I thought it was going to be longer, and I was really into the story, and then it was just over. And then the second one's a little bit longer, and then the third one's basically a novel. And so if you get them all three together, it makes a very nice continuous story. And I highly recommend it. Anyone who gets into like Star Trek style sci-fi with lots of alien races and great character development, it's really fun.
Is now these, not to be smart about it, Brad, I'm dead serious. Are you talking about books or audiobook versions or what?
I got the audiobook version. If I were going to gift it to someone, I would probably give them the paperback. But the audiobooks are read by she's a Nigerian author, and they're read by someone with a female with a Nigerian accent. And I don't know the narrator's name offhand, but it's delightful to listen to. It really adds like a richness to the story because the main character is a Black African female, and it really it adds something for me, I think.
Good. Yeah, in today's world, you have to kind of ask that question because reading doesn't necessarily mean I put my eyes to paper anymore. Right. We haven't figured out a way to say I listened to a book, really. So, yeah. Good.
I just still say read, even if it was audible. I still just say I just read this book or.
Well, because when I listen to Audible books, I usually picture the words as they're being said. I find myself like it's double the work because I imagine how I would have read that passage, and I'm like, so I'm listening to it being read while imagining reading it, but it's nice to be able to do it hands and eyes free.
Mm-hmm.
I got to think about that. I don't think I've ever thought about it that way, Brett, as to how I would have enunciated it. Huh. Okay. I learn something from you guys every time you're here.
That was interesting.
Okay, so I'm going to go toward. I'm going to riff on David's thing a little bit with the HomePod, but the one disadvantage of the HomePod is it has to be plugged in, and I like to have a good portable speaker or two around. AirPods are great, earphones are great, headphones are great, but sometimes there's no substitute for just having that external speaker so that you are completely free of anything, but you also don't have your senses blocked out, your hearing senses. And so I'm going to recommend the JBL Flip 5. The reason I like the Flip 5 is not too big. Now you can get bigger JBL speakers, and by the way, I love JBL speakers. They do such a great job, and I like the way they sound. But the Flip is a nice compromise between it's not too big, it's not too small. It sounds really good. It's got great battery life. It's got the little lanyard on it so that you can hang it or hook it if you want to. You can sit it on anything, and it's got a significant range of sound. Not quite 360, but almost 360. And it's quite affordable. I've seen a couple deals right now going around the holidays. You're probably going to find it for about $100. And there are other great speakers out there too, but I just find this one to be the one that I use. I've got several of them, and I have them, stationed at different places for different purposes, including one in my shower, because it's a great place to listen to music or podcasts or catch up
or audiobooks.
Or audiobooks. Well, the trouble with audiobooks is then when I'm washing my hair, I can't hear and I miss pieces. So I usually, do something, that is a little.
I don't know what this washing your hair thing is.
I can see that. That would be a decided advantage, Brett. Yes. Is that an efficiency thing so that you
totally aerodynamics and efficiency.
I tip my hat to you. So anyway, the JBL Flip 5. I keep wanting to say the Pulse. The Pulse is a different one. That's great too. But the Flip 5 is the one that I really can recommend heartily as a great value for the money and great sound. This edition of MacVoices is supported by Headspace. Meditation made simple. So what is Headspace? Headspace is an app that helps guide you through making meditation a part of your life. What does it deliver? Try this. That's what 5 seconds of peace feels like. Imagine how good you'll feel after an easy 10-minute meditation with Headspace. Yeah, I know, but where are you going to find 10 minutes in your day? But if you do, you can sleep better, focus better, act better, be better. Isn't that worth 10 minutes? I sure think it is. And if you're not sure about that, Headspace has a special SOS 3-minute meditation that can help you through the extra stress of a given situation. Or perhaps silence isn't your thing. Just too many thoughts still invading your mind. Headspace has you covered with special focus music specifically curated by Headspace Chief Music Officer John Legend. Still not convinced? Check the numbers. 4 weeks of Headspace can increase focus by 14%, and only 3 weeks of use has been shown to cut aggression to negative feedback by a whopping 57%. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/MacVoices. That's headspace.com/MacVoices for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. That's the best deal offered right now, so head to headspace.com/MacVoices today. Thanks to Headspace for their support of MacVoices. Okay, so that's 3. We've got one more round coming up. So Kelly, this is your last pick of 2020. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going for it. All right, here we go. Stretch a little bit. I'm picking the as yet unknown Apple MacBook powered by Apple Silicon.
That's daring.
That is really daring. Wow.
Well, if someone loved me enough, I'd get one for Christmas. There you go.
Yeah.
So, because I think, like, for a lot of people, I mean, Chuck, we've talked about this. I've talked about it on Daily Observations. We've talked about it on MacVoices Live. For most people, the migration from Intel hardware to Apple Silicon hardware is not going to be a big deal. It's not going to be a whole thing. Like me washing my hair, for example, is a whole thing. And so, like, I don't think it's going to be a problem for most people. And I think that if you are in the market, we don't get them until next Tuesday as of recording this. But I think that it's definitely going to be a worthwhile upgrade. I think we've waited on it quite a while because Apple wanted to make it the best experience it could be before they unleashed it on the public. And so I think it's going to be worth the purchase. And if you are not an edge case sort of a person who doesn't regularly have problems with the drivers for hardware you've got hooked up, or you have very specific needs because you have musical instruments or audio interfaces or other sorts of external stuff that you plug into your computer on a regular basis, I think it'll be an awesome experience. It's going to be super thin. It's going to be super light. And if you haven't purchased a computer in the last few years, like if you got one this year, you're probably not in the market for a new laptop. But if you have anything with that butterfly keyboard, it might be worth an upgrade to the Apple Silicon. So, or older. If you have anything pre-butterfly keyboard, you're probably definitely in the market because that thing's been around for a while. And so, like, it might be worth pulling the triggers, particularly if the rumors are true about a 16-inch. That's a really nice that's actually a really portable machine for people who maybe remember the 17-inch laptop being a monster. I think it weighed approximately what my Mazda weighed. So you don't, like, they're a lot thinner, they're a lot lighter. The battery life is the battery life's going to be at least as good as it is now, which is pretty good on a laptop. So pull the trigger and go for it. That's my pick.
When it's available, you mean?
Yes.
I think that's a very brave pick, given that we don't know pricing, specs, or anything, Kelly. But I agree with your logic completely.
Well, I don't think it'll be more. I don't think the price of laptops is going to go up from Apple. So if it's going to be the same as what it is now, then, and I don't think it's going to be dramatically cheaper. If it's going to be the same, in the same ballpark, then you're looking at like between, to get a solid machine that's going to last a while, then you're looking at $1,500 to $2,000 in that neighborhood. And I know that that's not out of the range of possibility. I've seen that, like, I know what kind of stuff gets picked on the gift guides. So I know I'm not like way out of my element, budgetarily speaking. So, yeah, I think it would be a good pick for somebody if you're looking to drop that kind of cash, and maybe you're looking to drop that kind of cash on yourself. Great pick.
I love it. That might be the first currently unreleased product that we've ever had picked in the gift guides, Kelly. So I think you just went down in history.
All right.
You also may have inspired a new rule. You can't pick anything that doesn't exist.
You have to pick a thing that I can link to. Yeah.
I'll figure out a way to link to it. Don't worry, Brett. Mr. Ginsburg, your final pick for 2020.
Yes, we were just talking about Apple TV, and there's so many other alternatives out there. You got Roku, you got the Fire TV, you got all these other devices. I found this one to be interesting. Of course, the Chromecast and the new Google TV just came out as well. But this one is actually by a company that I was always a very big fan of, TiVo. TiVo's been around for quite a long time, and I had TiVo boxes, as I'm sure many of us did over the years. And I kind of abandoned it after it was just started to get, when the old ones finally went out, and cable companies are going away from cable cards, so it just started to be a nightmare. So they came out with this new device. It's called the TiVo Stream 4K. And what it is, it's basically a small little dongle that you plug into your HDMI connector on your TV. It's got the classic TiVo remote that everybody knew. And yeah, it does have a Netflix button. It supports all of the services that are out there, and it is based on the Android TV or the Google TV platform, but it's got the nice clean TiVo interface, which I thought was kind of neat. But you can download the apps specific in the Google Play Store and be able to watch all these other apps like HBO Max and Pandora. You've got the Disney Plus and Netflix and thousands of others you can do. But for $49, you can't beat it. I mean, people don't have the big expense of wanting to buy an Apple TV because it can be expensive. This can't be a bad alternative, and comes from TiVo. So I thought it was a good pick for something like that. And
you said that was 4K, right?
It's 4K. Yeah, TiVo Stream 4K. Yep.
It's been interesting to watch what has happened to TiVo, because for a long time TiVo was like my absolute go-to.
Me too.
Then you started having the Netflixes and the Amazons come on, and you had to jump through some hoops to get things onto your TiVo, and I've kind of gotten away from it, and I've been thinking about going back. Too. So maybe this is something that I need to look at. Yeah, they still have the boxes. I mean, you got to pay handling for them. I think $400 for one of the latest TiVos. I think you have one for the over-the-air antenna or cable. But now with this day and age with the cable TV starting to abandon cable card and making it more difficult, you got to have a box with it. It might be a good alternative, and have all the streaming services all in one little device, and easy to switch between your HDMI connections on your TV to if you want to utilize the interface.
That's an interesting idea.
David, you may have just cost me money. Thank you.
$50. Not bad.
Yeah, 50 here, 50 there. Pretty soon it turns into real money.
It does.
Brett, round 4.
I am not going to cost you any money.
Thank you.
I have several options left that all come in the like $100 to $200 range. But what I'm going to pick for my final round in 2020 is the equivalent of a coupon for a free hug. It's a movie night, and we just did this with friends last weekend, and we'll be doing it again this weekend, or equivalent thereof. You get everyone together on Zoom, or if you want to be totally free, Jitsi Meet if no one has a Zoom account, and you get a group text message going. And then you use something like Plex has Watch Together. Hulu has a Watch Together function. I think Netflix and Amazon both do as well now. Like all the streaming services are adding something where basically one person can hit play and it plays for everyone wherever they are in the world. Mm-hmm. And you mute the Zoom call while the movie plays and switch to doing your MST3K remarks over text message. And then when someone hits pause to take a bathroom break or something, you turn the Zoom back on, you crack jokes. And it's the kind of thing that if you wanted to get a gift for friends or family that was about human connection and really kind of it makes a huge difference. Just like after weeks of isolation, getting together with 5 or 6 friends and just watching a movie together, it reminds you of old times. And these digital movie nights are way easier to put together than it ever was to get everyone to show up to an actual movie night.
That's a really nice idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aw, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, especially during the COVID times. And it also has the advantage of everybody can kind of order what the snacks they want and have them in their own homes.
Exactly. And you're not responsible for anyone's snacks either.
Yeah.
Or diet restrictions or anybody getting there if the weather is bad, which I know like for you, Brett, is probably a concern sometimes. So yeah.
I feel MacVoices movie night coming on. No, never mind. No, we better not do that.
Don't give Kelly ideas.
I have to go to I have to go to the Doodle for this and go check every single box now because that would be awesome.
Yeah, but we'd have what would we watch, Kelly? What would we watch?
You know what? I'm going to tell you. Pick a Star Wars.
Star Wars, Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek would be good. Yeah, we could do a Star Trek. I like Star Trek too.
Okay, we'll figure out something. We
could watch a Christmas movie like Die Hard.
There you go. Now we're talking. Something with lots of violence. Yeah. Because nothing says Christmas like violence.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. His wife's name is Holly. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to wrap up again with a little bit of a COVID-19 inspired pick. Folks, you've been listening to us for about 40 minutes, give or take, here during this show. And if you're watching the video version, take a look at everybody except me because mine's down below the screen. Everybody here has an external microphone, a very nice external microphone. And we've spent way too much money on these microphones, but you don't have to spend a lot of money. You're spending more and more time on Zoom calls, on Skype calls, on all kind of online calls. You don't want to sound like you're coming through an AM radio. Please spare my ears. So I'm going to suggest that you invest in a Yeti, a Yeti by Blue Microphones. A couple reasons for this. First of all, it sounds great. Second, it's got all the adjustable patterns to help you filter out the room noise or bring in room noise or a group if you happen to be in a situation where you actually do have more than one person. And in COVID times, that seems a little out there, but it's really not, because you might have a family that's Zooming or Skyping with someone, and you want the kids in, or you want a bunch of people in, and it helps spread that out. The third thing is it's a plug and play USB mic. No drivers, no nothing. Plug it in, your Mac will recognize it, and you're up and running. And it also has onboard audio controls for volume, as well as a headphone jack, so you can hear things through the microphone instead of having to use whatever happens to be on your computer. Now, the downside to it is it's a little bit large, that's just the way it is. There is a Yeti Nano. I have not tried it out. It will take up less space on your desk, and since it's made by Blue, I have a lot of confidence in it, but I can't say that I've used that. I have used a Yeti. In fact, if you look right beside my head here, that is a Yeti by Blue mic. That one is, I have that mounted on an arm, so I can swing it out of the way and keeps the space off my desk. And that's another option that you can use. But please, for the sake of everyone, you will sound more professional. And if it happens to get in the camera shot, you'll look more professional. And people say, "Wow, you really care a lot about sounding good." Yeah, you do. So the Yeti by Blue. Lots of different variations. You can get them in colors. Go and have a good time picking out the one you want. But I think this is a good one. So anybody else here have experience with the Yetis?
Yeah.
No.
A little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, that's the Yeti is what I loan out to people that are local that I want to have on my podcast. And I want them to have a good mic, but I don't want them to have to deal with XLR interfaces or anything. I loan out the Yeti.
Yeah. Brett, I'm not sure about you or Kelly, but I know David and I both have mics that require the XLRs, so we have to send them through a mixer. That's the beauty of the Yeti, man. Just everybody knows how to plug into a USB port at this point.
I actually got the same mic Dave has. I got the pod mic recently.
Yeah.
Which it actually cost me an extra $150 because with my audio interface, it needed a cloud lifter. But that's the kind of thing you get into when you get into XLR mics.
Yes, you do.
Right. And see, right there, as soon as you said cloud lifter, people turned off because, I don't want to go through all that.
What now? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm making the point of plug and play. That's all you got to do.
USB.
So, USB.
Yeah.
Just and a lot of the times I think some of the software will actually select it as your mic automatically, but if not, it's an easy find to set it up. So, guys, thank you. Kelly, please.
Well, I would suggest you can also get something like mine that sort of looks like a regular microphone that you can put on a stand, and like my setup, like I have that as the mic that lives in my backpack is the Audio-Technica ATR 2020 or 2100, one of the one that's not USB-C, the one that's mini USB. It's got USB and XLR, so if you have that or have access to that, sometimes like you can go either direction with the microphone. And I'm literally using a $30 stand from musiciansfriend.com to keep it off my desk, and then the rest of the time I just swing it over here and it's out of my way. And then it's nice to not have it on my desk. That was the only thing I didn't like about the Yeti, the blue microphone that I had before, was it sat on my desk all the time, and I couldn't, like when I was done podcasting, I had to set it on another horizontal surface. And the nice thing about the mic stand is I can just push this out of the way, and then I don't have to worry about it. So, but definitely, like, it doesn't take much to dramatically up your audio game.
Nope.
No, but at the same time, I don't want you to go out and just say, "Oh, I'm going to go buy, the $29.95 mic." I mean, there's some good $29.95 mics out there, but they usually require a little more fussing with, and buying the stands and everything. Yeah. The Yeti, you pull it out, you sit it on your desk, you plug in, and you're gone. So, yeah. Guys, thank you. That's a great first round. That gets the 2020 gift guides off to a terrific start. A lot of variety there. And Brett, I especially love the audiobook pick, because that sort of embraces the idea that, we're going to stray just a little bit from things that plug in and have a power button.
Yeah.
So let's go around the room and let folks know where they can find you, because all three of you are podcasters, and so they can listen to you when you're not here. Kelly, you're first.
All right. You can find me 5 mornings a week over at themacobserver.com, where I host the Daily Observations podcast. You can occasionally find me over at the Incomparable Network, where I talk a lot about Star Wars, but also sometimes about other stuff, including Westworld. I have a show over there with Don Melton called Greetings from the Uncanny Valley. Mike Rose and I started a podcast called The After Show, which we thought would capture all the good bits of what we used to do after the 2 Talkcast. And every once in a while, you can find me on Systematic.
I heard that.
You can also find me on Tuesday nights, making Chuck's life difficult over on Facebook.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Great. Thanks so much, Kelly. Good to have you. Happy holidays.
And to you, yeah.
Mr. Ginsburg.
You can find me at my podcast, In Touch with iOS, at intouchwithios.com. And we're having a lot of fun. And you can also find me on Twitter at DaveG65. Thanks for having me.
Hey, as always, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Brett Terpstra.
Last
the
but
man,
not least.
The myth, the legend.
Oh, you can find me at brettterpstra.com, home of all my mad science. You can also hear me at systematicpod.com, and Kelly, yes, was a very recent guest on that. And then I have a podcast with Christina Warren at overtiredpod.com. And I'm TT Scoff on every social media platform known.
Every single one, Brett? Wow.
Every single one. Even cool. Ello. I'm TT Scoff on Ello. You can find me on Jaiku. Like, I'm TT Scoff on social media platforms that don't even exist anymore.
And I forgot to mention, I'm Verso on FriendFeed. You can follow me there.
Friend feed?
That's going back a ways.
It came and went in I don't even remember anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought maybe it had been resurrected and I missed it. So
yeah.
No. I'm just naming entertainingly archaic social media platforms. But like Brett with TT Scoff, I am generally Verso most of the usual places.
Brett, were you TT Scoff on GeoCities?
I was TT Scoff on Angel Fire.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Okay. Trips down memory lane, folks. Trips down memory lane. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. We'll be doing a bunch of these gift guides over the holidays to help you find things that we feel like you should consider for yourself and for others. We like to give the personal experience because we get around with this stuff a bit, and it's always fun to share. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.